So, as I mentioned, having a chair if you need it, and 2 blocks, and your strap. And if at the end of class, when we're getting ready for Shavasana, if there's any time for you to do a little self-massage, if we have the time for that, you might want to have your massage ball nearby. So we're going to start with belly breathing. So the focus of our class today is the core. And in order to have a strong core, we also need to have a flexible core. So we don't want it to just be super relaxed and limp, or we just be a bag of bones. And we don't want it to be super tight and stiff, because then we won't have that mobility and our organs won't have the space to breathe and move. So we're going to work today on both flexibility and strength of the core. And the core includes, you know, the stuff that you would imagine, like the abdominal muscles, side abdominals, deep corset abdominal muscles, those ones that just cinch in and kind of squeeze you up. And then the inner thighs and parts of the glutes are part of our core as well. So we're going to just really mindfully work through those areas. And to start with, we'll do the belly breathing just to really bring some softness to the area. So you can bring your hands either to your belly or to your ribs for the first couple of breaths, and focus on breathing in through your nose and letting that area really open and soften, and then exhaling through the mouth. And as you exhale, just squeeze all that air out of your lungs. And again, breathing in. Nice soft breath, and breathe it out. So as you take those full deep breaths, focusing on trying to get that lower belly to move and open first, and then the air will naturally start to travel into the upper rib cage and upper chest and back area. And as we inhale through the nose, we actually are able to access the deeper lobes of the lungs. If you were to just take a breath through your mouth, just open your mouth and breathe in as much as you can, and notice when you feel full, and then let it go. And again, breathe in just through your mouth, and let it go. And now compare that to just breathing in through the nose, and let it go. You might notice how much more full the lungs become, or feel like they're getting, as you breathe in through the nose. And then now we'll do something called flower breath. It's just a little visual. So we're going to bring our fingertips all together like little rosebuds or flower buds. You can hold them in front of you, or you can bring them to your lap. I'm going to hold them in front of me with my elbows just softly next to my ribs. And I'm going to look at my hand or hands. And as I breathe in through my nose, I'm going to open up the flower. Open it. When the lungs are full, my petals are open, then I'm going to exhale. Close the flower. See if you can match the opening and closing of the flower with the fullness of your breath. You can also play with just using one hand, whatever works for you. Let's do one more. And when you're complete, let your hands rest on your lap. Just and breathing naturally. So I'm going to read this little teaching from the book called Sacred Intentions, Morning Inspiration to Strengthen the Spirit based on Jewish Wisdom. And this reading is called Following Our Own Feet. One is led only in the direction he or she chooses to follow. This is from the Talmud. While some say that we suffer from a lack of leadership, somehow leaders emerge in our work, at school, and in our communities. These are not the people who are elected or appointed to positions of authority. Rather, these are the few among us who assume these positions because they are driven to lead. Some will even claim that they are called to lead. But what is actually going on? Are we doing the following, or is it the leader who's really leading? The rabbis of the Talmud think that the answer to this question is rather simple and straightforward. We follow only where we want to be led. We follow only where we want to be led. There is no pushing us in one direction or pulling us in another. Thus, wherever we go, we are freely making the choice to go there. What choices are you prepared to make today? Where will you be going, and who will be leading you? And how will you be leading yourself? So I want to bring this inquiry of following our own feet and being a leader unto ourselves into our practice today as it relates to core strength, as it relates to not just the physical core strength of our bodies, which we're going to work with, but our spiritual core strength. How do we strengthen our spiritual core so that we can live an upright life? How can we live an upright life and take ourselves where we want to be taken and lead ourselves where we want to be? So we're going to explore a little bit of that today. Let's start with our cat-cow. So go ahead and come to your hands and your knees. And some of these things might feel challenging. So be gentle with yourself and do what you can, and look for any pain in the lower back. We want to be really careful with our exercises that we're not causing pain. We might feel like it's getting warm or uncomfortable, but we're not wanting any shooting pains in the lower back when we work through our core exercises today. So just starting by bringing some softness and mobility to the spine, rounding the back as you exhale, and inhaling as you arch. And just like we matched the breath with the flower opening with our hands, we can match the breath with our spine. So think of the flower petals closing, coming together as you round your back. And then as you inhale, let that flower start to open. The rib cage expands. Good. And you might do a little side bending and get into the ribs like a little accordion stretch there. And then make sure your wrists are positioned under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips, and we'll extend the right leg out with the foot flexed and the toes pointed down. So those hips are square to the floor. And you'll just round your back and bring your knee to your nose. And hollow out your abdominals. So pull in on the core. You're going to feel a nice little contraction like you're doing a ab crunch. And then inhale, extend. We'll just do 3. Exhale, round, contract, knee to nose. Inhale, extend, and then last one. Let all that air out. Hollow out the belly, and then extend and release. We're going to do the other side now. Left leg comes back behind you, toes point straight down. Pull the navel in. So I want that belly. It's as if the belly button is connected to the spine by a little string. They're just pulled together. Round the back, blow the air out, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, rounding. Pull the belly in. Inhale, extend. And last one. Hold this one. Pull the belly in, knee to nose. And extend. And release. Okay, sit back on your feet and just shake out your wrists. Give them a little break. Bring the backs of your hands to your thighs and press gently down. Hold on to your fingertips and press the fingertips down toward the floor. Palm faces away and get into the forearm here. Both sides, just whatever you need to do to release your wrists. And shake them out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to wake up the core and the glute muscles here. So for our poses. So you can tent your fingertips if you need to, if your wrists get tired. So we're going to extend the right leg behind us again. Toes are pointed down. Belly's pulled in. Now imagine that you're just on your hands and knees on the face of a clock. So your head is looking at 12, your back knee is about 6 o'clock. We're going to bring that right leg out to the side, trying to keep the hips level until maybe we get to like 4 o'clock, or maybe some of you get to 3, which would be very impressive, but maybe around 5 o'clock. And then bring the leg back in, so it's around 6 o'clock, and then start to squeeze that right inner thigh towards your left inner thigh so that your right foot is now pointed to like 7 or 8 o'clock. And just start to slowly sweep the leg around this part of the clock, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 p.m. or a.m. and all the way back toward the midline where you're squeezing your thighs together and getting those toes to point toward about 7. Good, let's do one more, nice and slow. Keep breathing. This is hard work, so if you have to take a break, it's totally fine. Squeeze, 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 and release. Good, take a child's pose for a second. Breathe into your lower back, rock from side to side. Release your wrists if you need to shake them out. Okay, come on up. We're going to do the other side. So that left leg levitates off the floor, toes are pointed to the ground. And as you hold your belly in, you're going to bring the leg out to the side, toward your left, to maybe, now it might be like 8 p.m. or 8 or 9 on the clock. And then bring the leg back towards 6 again, and then squeeze your thighs together. Try to get that left foot to go toward maybe 5 or 4, however far on the clock you can go. The whole time you're moving the leg though, think of the movement originating from your glutes and your hips, and try to keep your hips pretty stable so those frontal hip bones aren't shifting around a lot. You want to keep them real, like the center of a clock, you know, where the hands of the clock move but that center doesn't. So you want to keep that same idea. Let's do one more mindfully. Keep the belly pulled in. I'm sweating. Are you sweating? I'm already sweating. This will heat you up if you're cold. Good. And release. Come into child's pose. Okay. Come back up. We're going to do a thread the needle, but it's a variation, so you might want to watch before you start this. So I'm going to tent my fingertips on the left hand, and I'm going to bring my right arm up to the sky. Nice little chest stretch. Then I'm going to thread the needle. I'm going to scoop my right arm under my left, but I'm not going to let it lay on the floor. I'm going to scoop, reach, and then come right back into my open-hearted, open chest position. I'm going to scoop, keep your belly pulled in. Your head might tap the floor for just a brief moment, and then back up. It doesn't matter how many you do. Just do them as mindfully as you can. Exhaling as you twist. That left elbow is going to bend to give you room to reach. Inhaling as you open. Let's do one more. Really draw the navel in as you twist. That protects your spine. And relax. We're going to switch to the other side. Tenting the fingertips on the right hand, or you can have your hand flat if that feels better for you. We're going to open up the left arm and the left side, and then scoop underneath the right arm. Right elbow bends. Don't let that left arm touch the floor. Inhaling, opening up. Exhaling, scooping under. As you scoop under, pull your belly in. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, scooping under. Let's do 2 more on your own. It's getting nice rotation in that upper thoracic spine, which usually many of us don't have as much softness and range of motion as we should in that area. Last one. And when you're done, take another child's pose, this time with the knees wide, and reach those arms out in front of you. Rest your forehead on the floor. Coming from child's pose, we're going to rock forward, bring those knees together, keep the belly pulled in, come to your elbows, and lower yourself down. We're going to practice locust pose. So the other part of the core muscles are the spinal muscles that keep us upright, the erector muscles. So we're going to work on strengthening those. We're going to keep the feet flat on the floor. So the tops of the feet are flat and the arms are behind us, palms facing down. The forehead is on the floor. Go ahead and shift your hips around so you can sense that your frontal hip bones are both pointed straight down. And then pull your belly in. So try to suck your belly button up away from the mat. And then keeping your feet and legs on the floor, squeeze them nice and tight. You're going to lift your chest and your head up, and then your arms. So imagine that you could lengthen your neck to the point where there's no like wrinkles back there. You're not creating any wrinkles from looking up. You're looking straight down or just a little bit ahead of your face. Lift up a little higher. Keep your feet on the floor. Breathe and lower down. Good. And when you relax your belly, you might notice the difference in the stability there. There's a little less stability when you just lay on the floor in a relaxed way. One more time, we're going to squeeze the legs, press the tops of the feet into the floor, draw the navel in, start to lift the shoulders, chest, arms off the floor. Nice long neck. Get as high as you can. And then lift your feet off the floor if you'd like to. And imagine that you're squeezing a little pillow between your thighs, activating the inner thighs and the back, strengthening the core so that we can stand upright and live upright in the world. Lower down. Bring your hands under your head, bend your knees, and just crisscross your legs. Wonderful. We're going to flip to our backs and bring our straps with us. You'll want to have your blocks nearby too, at least one. So let's open up the legs for our standing poses. Bring the strap around the bottom of your right foot. Your left knee can be straight or bent. You decide what feels best for your back today. And then shimmy your shoulders down away from your ears and flex your right foot and reach for the ceiling with your heel. Breathe. And then take the straps in your left hand and start to cross your leg over your body. Get into that outer hip. At this point, if you need to straighten your left leg, you can. So I'm looking for more of an outer hip stretch here than a twist. We want to keep the stretch in the side leg and part of the hamstring here. Bring the leg back to center. Change hands, so now you're holding the straps with your right hand and start to open your leg out to the right until you get a nice inner thigh stretch, but try to keep the left hip and sits bone rooted down into the floor. Try not to let that roll up. If it rolls up, then bring your right leg up a little bit more towards your midline. As you exhale and engage your core, bring your leg back up to center. Hold both straps and just turn the leg inward and outward. Just stir deeply in the hip socket by moving your leg and drawing some circles on the ceiling, all the while keeping the foot really flexed. Good. Release the strap from this side and just give your knee a squeeze. Squeeze it nice and tight in towards your ribs or your underarm area. And do some ankle circles. And release. Go ahead and change sides. That strap is around the base of the left foot now. Slide the shoulders down the back so you're not reaching or working too hard with your upper body. Flex the left foot. Breathe into the back of the leg. We're going to get into this set of muscles with a pretty intense forward fold. So we want to have these muscles as warmed up as possible. Take the straps in your right hand and start to cross your body, crossing toward the right side, and get into that hip. And engage the belly, bring the leg back to center, change hands, so now you've got the straps in your left hand and start to open the leg out to the side. Foot is flexed. Big soft belly breaths. And on your next exhale, draw the navel in and bend the knee slightly, bring it back up to center. Holding both straps. Now we're going to do some internal and external rotation with the whole leg. So it's going to turn inward and outward. And then we'll start to draw some circles, reaching with your heel. Nice and slow. Going both directions. What a wonderful gift to just be doing this for ourselves in this moment, right? What a luxury and a gift. Although it shouldn't really be a luxury, this self-care business, huh? But it feels great. Go ahead and pause and release your strap. And hug your knee into your chest again, or into the side of your rib cage. And do some ankle rotations. Okay, and then bring both knees up. Give them a squeeze, rock from side to side. So, I mentioned the corset muscles, which are very deep abdominal muscles, and when those are strong, we can stand upright, and they're protective of our organs. So we're going to explore those a little bit. So bring your feet to the floor, almost like you're going to set yourself up for a bridge pose. So the knees are pointed straight up, the feet are kind of close to your bottom, and then bring your block to your inner thighs. So we're going to do the thinnest setting between the thighs, where it feels comfortable for you. About halfway probably will work. And then bring your fingertips to your frontal hip bones. And now if you can find those frontal hip bones, take your fingertips and bring them in, curve them inward as if you could kind of get inside the frontal hip bones, just to the inside of them. Do your best. You're gonna get benefit from this no matter what. So if you got that little spot, that soft spot inside the frontal hip bones, now I want you to squeeze the block with your inner thighs, just a little activation there. And then I want you to clear your throat. And you feel that popping up motion underneath your fingertips? Those are the deep corset muscles called your transverse abdominis. So it's just funner to call them a corset, right? So you're gonna clear your throat and feel the rising of the deep muscles under your fingertips. Now there's a way to activate those without clearing your throat. So try to do that by drawing your belly button in and firming everything up as if you're clearing your throat. And then see if you can hold that activation. It's actually it's a lot of work actually. And then relax. So we have surface abdominals. Those are the rectus abdominals, like when whatever bodybuilders or people are working on that six-pack. Those are the surface abs. Those are good for us for many reasons, but the corset is really want to pay attention right now. So we're going to bring the hands behind the neck and head. So you're actually cradling the back of your skull, clasping the hands, and the thumbs are going to point down toward your lower neck. And I want you to draw your belly in. You could even clear your throat just to remind yourself where those muscles are. And keeping them pulled in, keeping those muscles pulled in, you're going to start to lift your head and shoulders off of your mat. And imagine you have a little tangerine that you're holding between your chin and your chest. So you're not yanking on your head. And just start to lift yourself up until you can kind of look toward your belly or toward your block that you're squeezing. Good. So I'm shaking already. So if you're doing this right, it's a lot of work. And then lower down. Take a breath. The next time you exhale, draw the navel in, squeeze your block, squeeze. Imagine those corset muscles just squeezing as you lift. And breathe and squeeze and lower down. So we're really just activating the core here. One more time, squeeze your block, start to lift your back and head. You should see your elbows in your peripheral vision, but not way out in front of you, so you don't want to squeeze your head. Squeeze and lift, 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 squeeze your abs, and lower down. Good, and then remove your block. And the next thing we'll do is lift the legs and bring them into a right ankle. So it's as if you are draping your shins over a couch or a chair or a tabletop. This is actually tabletop position for the legs. So the knees are over the hips, and then the ankles shoot straight out from the knees, and the feet are flexed. So as you hold onto your frontal hip bones, you might feel the corset muscles working. So we're going to take the left foot with the foot flexed, and we're going to take that whole L shape of the leg, and we're going to reach down and tap the floor or the mat with our heel and come back up. So it'll be cheating if you just bend your knee in order to touch the floor. You won't feel much in your abs. So you want to squeeze the abs and then reach that L shape of your left leg to tap the floor and come back up. And then alternate. Do the right and come back up. And if you're not sure what's happening, you can just look at what I'm doing and get an idea. So I'm exhaling as I'm lowering the leg and pulling in on those muscles. Inhaling as I come up, exhaling, coming down. Good, we'll do one more on each side. Always know you can take a break if you need to. Last one. Good, watch out for that knee bending. We don't want the knee to bend. And then now we can squeeze our knees in and take a little twist. So let your knees drop over to the left. Release the abdominal wall there. Good, bring your knees back up, shift your hips over to the other side, and drop your knees to the right. And breathe. Good. Bring your knees back up. Go ahead and roll to your side and press yourself up. We're going to come to standing. Bring your blocks, both of your blocks with you. Bring one block to close to your toes so that when you're reaching down, you don't have to reach out in front of you. Whatever height you think you're going to need it on when you're bending over, the other block is going to go again between your thighs so that we squeeze it. So you coming to the top of your mat to do this. I'm just going sideways to demonstrate. So we're going to do our sun breath, our sun salutation breath with these supports. So I want you to look down at your feet, make sure they're pointed straight in front of you, and squeeze the block like you're going to try to just crush it. And as you do that, you can feel your glutes activating, your inner thighs activating. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Reach, 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 and then exhale, hinge forward at your hip crease. Come forward with a flat back until you come to either your block or the floor if the floor is available to you. If your knees need to bend a little, that's fine. If you need your block, great, no problem. Breathe into the back of your body. Imagine you could just fill up the whole back of your rib cage. Good. Now squeeze your block with your thighs. Pull your belly in like we did with our warm-ups. And bring your hands to your shins and start to slide your hands up your shins until your back is flat. Belly stays engaged here. You want to stay out of your lower back. We don't want to strain the lower back with this. So you know your back is straight if you can slide your shoulders down your back and open up your chest. And then bring your hands to your hips and come up. Inhale, reach up. A little faster now. We're going to dive forward, finding the floor or the block. Relax your head and your chin. Nod yes and no. Big breath. Let it out. Draw the navel in. Squeeze your block. Slide your hands up your shins. Maybe they'll come even above your knees until your back feels flat. Slide your shoulders down your back. Hands to your hips and rise up. Good. So we're strengthening the lower back here without straining it or exploiting it. Go ahead and release your block from between your thighs. Let's stand with our legs a little bit wide and do some twists and just tap the chest and the lower back. Good. And come to stillness. We'll do our 3 thumps, so tap under your collarbones with your fingertips. Big deep breaths in and out through the nose. Just get all along underneath the collarbones. And in the center of the chest, give it a nice drum session. Take a big breath in and then let out an ah. Ah, good. And now knock on your ribs, tap and knock. Might be a little sore there. This is your spleen meridian that you are stimulating for your immune system. And then shake it out, shake it out. Good. We're gonna bring in the breath of joy. So open your legs even wider, soft knees. Many of you have done breath of joy with me before, but I'll review it. So it's the arm motions are up, out, up, and then down. Just a little like throw it down. Up, out, up, and down. We're gonna sniff, sniff, sniff the air till our lungs are super full, and then we're gonna exhale it all out. Ready? Through the mouth, through the nose, through the mouth. Go at your own pace. Last one. Good. Bring your feet under your hips. Bring a smile asana to your face. Okay, so we're gonna bring that activation and awareness of our core into a couple of common popular yoga poses. So at the top of your mat, you're going to bring both of your blocks. You're going to want them throughout this time. And you also want your chair, if you think you might need it, I'll demonstrate. If the blocks aren't high enough for you. So blocks at the top of the mat, chairs there. We're going to come down to a kneeling pose. So I'm going to bring my left foot forward. So the left foot is forward. Blocks are nearby if I need them. And we want to imagine that we are on railroad tracks rather than a tightrope. So go ahead and feel free to walk that front foot out to the side a bit. And just start to lean into your lunge and then come back up. If you have sensitive knees, always know that your blanket, you can fold a blanket evenly to give you extra padding. So just rocking in and out of the pose. We're going to come to a place where we are upright, so that front ankle might want to come closer to the body so it's under the knee. Your blocks are here if you need them. Hands are on the hips. You're going to squeeze your right gluteal muscles, your right cheek muscles, and tuck your tailbone under you a little bit. So pressing the tailbone down, frontal hip bones, imagine scooping upward, and you're going to get into your hip flexor here. We're going to get now into the obliques, which are part of our core, by lifting the right arm up, reach for the sky, and then lean over to your left. And then keep squeezing your butt cheek on that right side, so you're really creating an opening through the front of the body. Breathe here. Good, come back up. Go ahead and walk your blocks forward a little bit. I'm going to use them as an extension of my arms. Tuck your back toes under and come into a low lunge. So you're going to press your heel back and stay on the balls of your ball of your right foot. Now, where's your core? Pull your belly in. Get it all active so it supports you. Now I want you to ground your back foot. You might have to step forward a little bit. You're going to ground your back foot. So now the heel's on the floor. The front knee is still bent. And you're going to reach your right arm out in front of you, like you're just reaching to take someone's hand. Good. Now we're going to windmill that right arm up, followed by the left arm, and come right into a warrior two pose. So you might need to adjust your lower body a bit. We're looking for a front heel to intersect the back arch. So we've got our warrior two. Good. Draw the shoulders together, open heart. Reverse your warrior, drop your back hand, reach up with the front hand, breathe. Engage your core, pull it in, pull the rib cage in, and breathe. And then come back to warrior two. And then turn your left toes to face forward. So now you're in a set up for a prasarita pose. So all the toes face forward. Bring your hands to your hips, start to hinge, and come into a forward fold. Blocks can be used here for sure if you need them. Relax the upper body, let it melt over those legs. Let the weight of your head go to create some traction in the cervical spine, the neck area. You can even shift your weight from side to side in the hips. And then press into your hands. Bend your knees a little bit, bring your hands to your hips, come back up. So I'm going to have you turn your left toes to face the front of the mat again. And this is where you might want your chair. And then the back foot's going to come up as well. Still on railroad tracks. Both feet are flat on the floor if possible. You're going to hinge at the hip crease. This is where you can hold the chair if you want, or you can come to blocks. And bring the right hip forward a bit and the left hip back. Now, I know our legs aren't set up to squeeze a block, but can you imagine that those muscles that were squeezing the block are active now? Can you draw the front heel toward the back leg, magnetize them, and activate those inner thighs as you come down? Can you squeeze your quads, your thigh muscles, so that those kneecaps lift a little bit? Draw everything into the center, into the core of your body. One more breath. And then come on up. You're going to press into your feet and rise up with a flat back if possible. Good. And then we're going to change sides. So bring your chair to the other side if you need to. Or just change legs, whatever works for you. Blocks are with you. So we'll come to the knees. And this time we're going to bring the right foot forward on railroad tracks. And we'll just kind of move in and out of this lunge. Draw the foot closer to your body if you need to, so that your front leg is in right angles. Squeeze now the left cheeks, the left gluteal area. Squeeze it and drop the tailbone down and pull the navel in. The navel and the ribs knit inward. Everything in the core is active here. And then reach the left arm up and over. Keep the core and the buns active here. Good, bring that hand down. Go ahead and use your blocks as extensions of your arms if you need to. Curl your back toes under and lift your knee. And fire up the back leg so you're in this nice low lunge. And breathe. And then as you're ready, go ahead and you can step your back foot forward a little bit in order to ground the back foot. Reach your left arm out in front of you. Reach. And then start to windmill the arms up into your warrior two. Check your feet. Make sure the front heel is intersecting the back arch. Pausing here in this powerful pose of warrior and bringing to mind the ways that you follow your own feet. How are you a leader? What actions do you choose to strengthen your spiritual core? Drop your back hand and reach your front hand up. Reverse your warrior or peaceful warrior. Good. Come back to warrior two. And now turn those right toes forward. We're going to come into Prasarita one more time, all the way down. You can do just as you did before, or you can take a little twist here. So if you're taking a twist, you can follow along with me. I'm leaning all the way forward. Right arm comes out in front of me, and left hand's going to come to my shin or ankle or thigh, and I'm going to gaze under my right arm. Be gentle with this twist. Only do it if your body really wants it. Changing over to the other side. Coming back to center. We're going to bend the knees, heel toe the feet in closer together so we can rise up safely. And then we're going to turn back to the right side. And step the back foot forward so both feet are flat on the floor. The front leg is straight. We're going to hinge forward with a flat back, finding either your chair or your blocks or the floor. But we want to pull the navel in. We don't want to be hanging out here and stressing out the lower back. And shift your left hip forward and your right hip back. And squeeze those leg muscles. And think of scissoring the leg muscles in toward each other. Lots and lots of things stretching in this pose. It's calves, hamstrings, back, everything. You can put a little bend in the front knee to help yourself rise up. Good, and then just do a little bit of hip circles, release those poses. We're going to use both of our blocks now, unless you don't want to use 2 blocks. We're going to come into a squat. But I want it to be a squat where you can rest to some degree. So I'm going to use 2 blocks. We're going to come, and it's nice to use your chair for balance. You're going to come into your squat on 1 or 2 blocks, or none if you don't want any blocks. Walk your feet out to the sides. Feet are flat. Sitting upright. Elbows are inside the thighs, hands come together, or you can make one fist and bring it into the other palm. Draw the shoulders down. So we're just releasing tension in the hips here and in the lower back. But we want to have some activation of the core here. So I want you to do a Kegel. Squeeze your pelvic floor muscles in and up. Keep some activation there. As you bring your right hand to the floor or fingertips to the floor, and bring your left arm up and maybe a little twist over to your left side. Only if it feels good. And then bring the left hand down to replace the right hand. Bring that right hand up, reach up, maybe looking up. Where's your core? Pull your belly in. Pull up on the pelvic floor muscles. Good, and come back down. Bring your hands together again. Take a couple more deep breaths. Good, okay. We're moving to the floor now. So however you want to come off your blocks. You can keep your chair nearby because during Shavasana you might want to do this. This feels nice when you lay back on this, but we won't need it for right now. So you can just push it off to the side a little bit. This is our last core activation. You thought we were done. I'm sorry, not sorry. So we're going to use our straps though. Bring your strap around the back of your thighs. You can also just hold your thighs, but it's kind of nice if you get down low to have the extra support, and you'll see why in a minute. So if you've got your knees bent, your feet are flat on the floor. I'm going to demonstrate this first, so I want you to be really careful. So that's why I want you to watch first if you don't mind. So we are going to, with an open chest, flat back, sitting on the sacrum, we're going to start to come back. And as we do, we're gonna make our way to the floor. But as we do, there's gonna be a point where we're gonna lose our strength here, and our feet are gonna want to come up. If that happens, like, oh, my feet are coming up, then I'm gonna come up a little higher, and I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna call this like stopping at the weakest link. You're gonna stop and breathe, and come back up. Then you're gonna come down. Oh, my feet want to come up. Then you're gonna stop. Pause, breathe, and come up. We're strengthening the parts that aren't strong in the abdominal area. If you come down a little lower without your feet coming up, but then you get to this place where you know that you're going to go, oh, I can't do it anymore. We all have that spot. You're going to stop there, and you're going to breathe and come back up. Don't worry, we're only going to do it like 3 times. Okay? So grab your straps, shoulders back and down, belly pulled in. Activate your core, like pull in on the corset muscles. Start to lower down until you find the weaker point in your abdominal area, and then pause there. Have integrity. Be honest. Be honest. And pause there where it's hard. And give it your best. If you start to feel it in your lower back, use more of the strap and more of your arms to help you. We're going to do it 3 times. That last time, you're going to use your strap to help you get through that like spot where you would normally just flop onto your back. You're going to use the strap to help you come down gently. Beautiful. Bring your knees up towards your butt and lift your hips off the floor. Just a little bridge counter exercise here. Open up the front of the body. And then lower down. These last few moments of class are completely yours. What does your body need? Do you need a twist? Do you need to do a neck massage with your ball or a chest massage? Do you need pigeon pose or legs up? You listening to your body. And take a couple of minutes, and when you hear the bell, it'll be your invitation to find some stillness and come to Shavasana. Begin to find stillness if you haven't already. Letting the larger muscle groups relax and settle, the arms and the legs, the hips and glutes, the muscles of your back, letting everything release into the floor, into gravity. Letting the muscles of your face soften as well. And and allowing your body to be breathed, the softness of breath, effortlessly moving in and out, letting the belly rise and fall on its own. The body is a mirror to the soul. The spirit and the body and the mind are intimately connected. And as we strengthen our core, our physical core, to be able to stand upright, strong and steady, just as we do that, we choose actions that strengthen our spiritual core so that we can live an upright life, a life of justice, of peace, of love, whatever upright means to you. Allow your own inner wisdom to rise up to speak to you in this moment. Where are you choosing to be led? What are you choosing to strengthen your spiritual core? As we practice, we grow stronger. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. And we will know that we are one. And we will know that all is one. Begin to take some fuller breaths and awaken your senses to your surroundings. And take your time rolling to your side. Before you press yourself up. With hands resting at the heart. Open up our eyes. Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one, and we will know that we are one, and we will know that all is one. Kenya Hiratzon, may it be so. Shalom.